So this week's episode of So I'm a Spider, So What shakes up the foundation quite a bit. If it wasn't like crazy enough to just have Admin D pop up to say, hey, I'm an evil god and I want to be entertained, there's not much more to it than that, but just know that, things will be okay if you just stick by it. Not really, because I'm an evil god and I just like to see people suffer, but still, you should be okay for now at the very least, because I sent Big Boy Demon Boy here away just so he wouldn't bother you anymore. That was crazy enough, but then you kill the hero, which I always assumed the hero would die eventually, because honestly, how do you have someone like Shlaim not become the hero and have that be an engaging plotline, because he's kind of tied down by his brother? So it was bound to happen. It's just the way it happened and the way he learns of it. I always assumed if the brother died, there'd be like some ritual, there'd be some sort of conversation that you have to take up the throne, it'd be some sort of inheritance, and it technically is, but just the idea that you could be sitting in your classroom one day, minding your own business, and the voice of God comes in your head saying hero status has been acquired, and that's how you learn your brother's dead. Not only did you not want the title, because this boy hasn't even been leveling up, you're now forced to be the new hero. And then you get all of the demon side content with the Demon Lord and all of the minions saying like, this is the way it's gonna go down, and they're plotting something rather big, while also getting a lot of clarification of previous Kumiko events where we saw it from her perspective, and now we get flashbacks to see how humans perceive the entire event, like burning down her home and taking an egg and things like that. I mean, like we were talking about last week, from how she sees herself is clearly very different than how the humans see her. And yeah, she looks just like a normal spider, these creatures that kind of look rather disgusting. But it's interesting how, from her perspective, she's this bubbly, very cute spider, but from other characters' perspective, she would just be a spider at the end of the day. I think in terms of just pure substance and how much was revealed, but also how well they handled the execution of all the plot points, this is without a doubt the best paced episode for also having the most content in it. It was very interesting seeing the resolution of the dragon fight, because you get to see Kumiko's ultimate moves here. The first of which is kind of like an illusion spell where it makes it look like she's over here when really she's above you and drops a giant poison bomb of death. The second of which is you pretty much spawn Satan's Gate to suck in everything around you, which also can be rather risky when you consider that you're sucking in all the lava, and if that's not there, the ground could very much crumble and you might find more magma down below. But still, it was a clever way to let her survive this battle, while also saying once again, she's not just winning because she's the main character, she's winning because of strategy, making sure she understands the situation, and going a little insane having multiple voices inside her head. And I really like that about the show, is that even when you're faced up against a dragon, you're thinking to yourself, okay, even if she loses here, she'll probably be resurrected or something like that, right? There's going to be a twist to keep her in the picture. But if that happens, she would probably revert back to where she started out in episode 1. So if you're gonna have her win, you have to make her work for it. And it always feels like when she's winning, it doesn't feel like things are randomly being pulled. It feels like you are a player playing a video game, except you didn't die, you didn't have to go back to your checkpoint. You're just using your abilities, you're using the mechanics in this game-like world to your advantage, and it doesn't feel like anything's half-assed. There's no power of friendship, there's no lucky coincidence. It's literally using the abilities that she's gained in intelligent ways, and if we could interact with video games as if it was real life, which is why, the idea of virtual reality is there, but, the mechanics aren't as fleshed out as grabbing an apple in the real world. It's going to be very clumsy in virtual reality. For someone like Kumiko, who's interacting with a world that literally is completely interactive because it's reality to her, and you have all these video game mechanics to back it, that's why you can do these incredible things and really make it feel like she earns these victories rather than is being pulled from thin air. And there's a couple of great moments too. There's a couple of shots with the dragon that looked a little wonky, but then there was others that just looked so high res, looked so good, and it looked ferocious. And even when the dragon looked so skinny and just honestly it was anorexic, it still looked like it could easily kill her, knowing that we only have one health point left. And the fact that she was losing legs, it felt like a well-earned and well-dangerous victory, all things considered. And when you get the whole admin situation where a dude pops up teleporting, speaking a language we can't understand, a smartphone drops in, and Dee's just saying, hey Spider, can you wait a second? The voice actress, I love who they picked for Dee. It's the perfect casting choice, especially when you hear that she says she's an evil god and she just does what entertains her. There's something about evil gods this week, from Higurashi to Spider. They just love to have these characters that in general situations should be the kind of slice of life, giving you wisdom, but apparently are actually evil, crazy witches or demons, and it's kind of amazing. And it definitely does make you wonder what's happening here and what is the point, because, you know, there was a whole classroom that got killed and reincarnated. So is Dee someone from that classroom? Is Dee originally a part of the world? Because Dee was saying that, like, she's not, like, native to this world, basically. So that leads me to believe, was Dee also, like, one of the characters reincarnated, or did she come from maybe a different world or something? Nonetheless, she definitely is in a place of very strong power, that if a character that can't even be appraised is about to approach you, Dee calls you up on the smartphone and says leave her alone, and he leaves her alone. That says something big is happening here, and the fact that Kumiko is kind of like the central focus right now, unless that was a lie, which it could be, but based on the fact that Dee is saying, like, you know, I've just been watching you, I'm not usually reading your mind, I'm just watching you. Basically, that's her television. I'm wondering why this character specifically is the focus when there's characters like the hero and Julius and things like that, right? You know, there's so many things happening, but maybe you have multiple screens up or something. But the whole idea with, like, the demon side I thought was really interesting. I was kind of wondering if this one character, I'm not sure if the name has been revealed yet. If you do want to see the name, if you just go to My Anime List, look up So I'm a Spider, So What? It's like the third character listed. There's no voice actress listed on the My Anime List page, but I did do some digging. The voice actress is different than that of Kumiko, and I know some people were saying, like, oh, it kind of sounds similar to that of Kumiko. What if that's her in the future? It doesn't look to be the case, just based on the fact that they actually did have a different voice actress. Though we do know the spider stuff from what we're seeing is in the past, and clearly what we're seeing with Kumiko currently in the anime is going to be different than what we see from Kumiko with whatever evolution she gets. For all I know, she could have been a part of that roundtable discussion, right? There's a lot of things happening, but I feel like this was an episode to say, anyone who still had doubts that the human side was important, that's now out the window. It has to be. Because even if you're not personally interested in a character like Schlaine, you can feel the pain, you can feel the suffering of losing someone who was family to him. Despite him being reincarnated, he grew up with that brother. That meant a lot to him. And even if you're not personally connected to those human characters, the way they're interacting with the demon lords and the demons and things like that is going to lead into some really interesting territory that has me so excited for more. I think without a doubt this was the best episode. It has your mind racing, it shows you so much, but it has you asking just as many, if not more questions than you walked in with, while still feeling like you got a lot of clarification in other aspects in the different fields of this anime. This show's amazing, definitely one of the best isekais I've ever experienced, and I'm really happy to see that it's continuing to have high quality production, it's carrying over into the spring next season, and honestly, I hope this gets more seasons than just the initial 24 episode run that it's lined up for. Let me know your thoughts and feelings down below, and definitely your favorite moment. Honestly, my favorite moment might just be the whole episode. I know generally I can pick like a specific moment, but the way it all combined for me, it just left me really satisfied in every single area. But honestly, the way they revealed the hero's death, I guess I could say might be my personal favorite specific moment out of an entirely perfect episode, but let me know yours down below. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, share your support, and hit that subscribe button if you happen to be new around here. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.